Alright. What's up, everybody? How we doing? Here's me bloody face. I'm going to be casting down here. Oh, that was like an Aussie Man Reviews intro. Whoops, didn't even mean to do that. Here's me face. That's what he does when his camera comes on, doesn't it? Up here in the top right, we've got Dark. In the bottom left, we've got Solar. And the reason we're casting this series, it's a best of 3 from the ESL Korean Weekly 237, is these are 2 of the players that people say can beat Serral. They say, who's going to beat Serral? People go, he's in the military. He's not training that much. Maybe he can get beaten. He dominated Dallas, only dropping 2 maps to Oliveira and just destroying everybody else. They're like, oh, but you know, maybe he hasn't got that many practice games. He has a 98% win rate on EU ladder this season. He's dropped 1 map versus Terran and 3 versus Zerg. No, 3 versus Protoss and none versus Zerg. He's 42 wins, 0 losses versus Zerg this season. People are like, oh, okay, maybe he is just going to win the $1 million tournament, $400,000 first prize next week without dropping a single map. And I'm like, yeah, maybe he will. But then we're going, okay, well, who can beat him? People are going, maybe Clem if he's having a great day, maybe Oliveira on a great day. Who else? People are going, well, Dark. And I've been saying for sure, Dark was the one player who gave Serral a good match in Dallas. Did he play him in Katowice as well? I feel like, actually, sorry, it was in Katowice, not Dallas. It was in Katowice earlier in the year. Dark had a fantastic series against Serral in, I think, the quarterfinals. It was a very, very good series. 3-1 in favor of Serral, but it was really good. Solar also actually kind of ruined Serral's 2023, right? He beat him in Gamers 8. He beat him in Sweden as well. So Solar beat Serral in 2 of the biggest tournaments last year. Now, problem for Solar is he's had a bit of a losing streak since then, right? But he's back on the up now. He's on the upswing right before the World Championship, which is huge. And Dark, on the other side, is interesting. Wait, who's Solar? Wait. Solar did qualify for the World Championship. Am I a dumbass, guys? Solar's in there, right? I was just looking at the bracket before. Who's Solar playing? Am I crazy and Solar somehow didn't qualify? No, she must be in there. Who's he playing, though? Jeez, I'm having a mental black on the bracket. You guys let me... Hero. He's playing Hero, which is a very hard match for him in the first round. Dark, on the other hand, is playing against Cure, which is a great match for him. And the winner of Solar and Hero actually plays Serral in that next round. So anyways, point being, I wanted to study this because I'm like, well, how do you beat Serral? Because the big problem Maru's had is he can't get practice against anyone of Serral's caliber. No offense to Dark and this, Solar and these guys, but they play ZVT totally different to Serral. Serral has his whole book of builds he's developed over the last few years, especially since developing his 15-15 openings. And Maru cannot answer them. Maru has no answer for them. And I really wonder, well, how do you guys practice for ZVZ? Because you don't get to play each other much in the Korean tournaments. There's a lot more Terrans and Protosses in Korea than there are Zergs. And when you do play, what sort of games do you play? And my instincts tell me cheesy as heck, all-in YOLO fests, which, to be fair, is how Solar beat Serral a bunch of times last year. But I almost feel like he basically used up a few of Serral's lives. And Serral's like, oh, you got 2 of my Horcruxes? Never again. Literally, ever since they've played since then, Serral has stomped on any all-in Solar has thrown his way. So I can't wait to see what these guys bring out. Dark mixes in some very aggressive timings, but he also plays a bit greedier against Serral. Here, though, Massling Bane timing, really straight up. And what I wonder is the sort of play Dark does against Solar, do you guys think this will translate against Serral? Because I don't know if it will. Really quick Roach Horn. Solar's planning to do a Roach Bane attack, but he's got to defend the Ling Bane wave first. If he can defend this efficiently, counterattack with Roach Bane, he could do really well. This sort of attack, Dark likes to throw out this sort of random Ling Bane aggression. I don't know if this ever works versus a Serral caliber player. Is this something he would even try versus Serral? Is it only because he thinks Solar might crumble under the pressure? We'll see. Ooh, Ling's trying to get the Banes. Good micro by Solar. He's only lost 1 Baneling. He's got another one almost finished. And his Roach Horn's done. He's up 4 workers still, even with the drones coming in behind. If he can start building Roaches right now and counterattack, Solar might be able to kill Dark on the counter swing. Problem, he's gone back to droning. Okay, now he builds 4 Roaches. Wait, but is it a real Roach commitment? This feels fake. This feels super fake. 5th Roach comes in. Solar, keep an eye on that production tab. Is Solar going all in, guys? If he keeps building Roaches, he's going. More Roaches. He's going to go. He's going to go for the counterattack. Meanwhile, we do see a few drones on the 3rd base for Dark. Dark has droned back up. 2nd gas, 3rd gas, Roach Horn, and an Evo chamber hidden in the back. Ling counterattack coming around for Solar. It's a small Ling counterattack. It's not a big one. He sees the Lings of Dark have responded, so he pulls back. Nice moves there. Solar goes for a scout. Dark has rallied a drone to the other side of the map. That's what we refer to as a misclick. There's no way that's meant to be there. That Zergling just slid up the ramp. StarCraft physics in tatters right now in 2024, guys. The Blizzard intern has just made it so Zerglings, when they die on the low ground, slide up ramps. What the heck? I haven't seen that before. Ling Bane pressure coming. He sees the roaches. Dark's under pressure right now. Dark is under pressure. The Lings are going to come in. +1 range is coming in on that Evo chamber. Roaches going to this right side as well. Okay, here we go. Roaches are going to move in. We've got Banelings morphing on the front as well. This is a huge commitment. Roaches on the right side, stopping Dark's attempts to Ling run by. Now, Dark is at half the army supply. Dark, remember, he committed to like 30 Zerglings off like 25 workers. That's a huge commitment. He was down on mining for a long time. You might be thinking, but what are you talking about, Pig? He's up on workers. Yeah, those workers just came out. None of them have paid for themselves yet. Uh-oh, no Banelings there though. Good surround. Are we going to see any Ravager morphs to try and save these? Those Roaches on the front are going down. I like that pullback for Solo though. He doesn't want to let his Banelings get blown up by the enemy Banelings, so he pulls them back for now. There's still Banelings in reserve for Dark. Dark needs those Banelings to protect from the Ling flood. He's got to pull these Roaches back. Dark needs to pull back and buy time, but Banelings come in from both sides, from the front and the back. Solar coming in from both sides. Give him the old ZVZ pincer Baneling there, but there's so many Banelings in reserve. The Lings just can't close as long as there's Banelings. That being said, does Dark not have enough Roaches? The Banelings need to survive. You could see Solar just focus down 4 of the Banelings. 1 Baneling detonates, but he's got to keep these Banelings alive. Only 1 Baneling left. If that gets focused, Solar takes it on the chin with that Roach. It literally chin butts, American style, American dad style. The double butt chin on the Baneling, impales it with the chin, and then the Lings coming in on the left side. It's still very close. Dark's up 5 workers, but he doesn't quite have the critical mass now. All of his Roaches are coming out just a little bit too late. Dark had plenty of Banelings, but he needed a few more Roaches up here. 45 drones may have been a bit too greedy, especially off of his opening. Because remember, he's gone a Lair, he's gone an Evo, he's gone +1 range upgrade, and he went 12 drones more than his opponent, despite being behind on mining and not finding favorable Ling Bane trades. So Solar played a good, solid defensive opening, shut down the pressure, and then hit a firm timing attack. This is a classic Solar strategy. Solar loves hitting Roach Bane timings. He does them so well. He killed Serral a bunch, and I actually blame Solar for kind of changing the Zerg vs. Zerg meta. It was when he kept building Serral last year that people stopped building Evo chambers. And the laser style actually became way more popular. Let me explain this really quickly, guys. Let me explain exactly what I'm talking about, because this is Solar showing his specialty. This is what he ruined Serral with last year. It's basically, people used to try to always go Evo before Roach Warren, and then they would try to get a +1 range, and they just build a Roach Warren just in time to like build Roaches defensively. But Solar would always hit these like 10 Roaches, tons of Ling Bane timings coming out, and people just wouldn't quite be able to defend because he was so crisp at hitting it. And because of that, we saw basically the standard became always Roach Warren before Evo. And you can see Dark playing the standard Roach Warren before Evo, but because he's droned too hard behind that early pressure, he just isn't quite able to keep up. Now, Serral is never going to commit to a Ling Bane pressure like Dark did here, with like 4 Banelings, 20 Zerglings on the front line. So you're not going to be as ahead as you are here as Solar. And Serral would probably have a similar Roach Warren Evo sort of timing, but he's also going to have better scouting. And this is something we've got to think. Would this work against Serral? So let me break this down really quickly for you. When this first pressure is coming across, Dark's doing it off 27 workers. So I said 25 before, it's 27. It's not a bad worker count. You can see only 8 workers on the natural, not as many as you might have. Whereas up to 29 and then 32 workers for Solar at the same time. So you remember what I said about you're behind on mining? And did he get any favorable trading? He killed a fewer Solar Zerglings, which was good. Gets a Baneling. Not amazing trading. He trades 75 resources better by picking off a few Zerglings. Now, the question here is, if we look at this from Dark's vision, what info did he have about what was happening next? He had to go home because he sees a Roach there, and then these Lings go across and kind of force Dark to go back. Now, Dark kind of goes on autopilot from here, and he just defends the Lings and denies scouting and just macros. And this is very classic Dark. Now, if we were playing Serral would be running Lings up here and scouting this third. And then coming back 20 seconds later and scouting that third again and again and again. Does Dark do that? And does Solar throw any misinformation out? Because I think you need a good misinformation campaign here, guys. You need to sell some of those fake news articles. You know, we need some AI-generated articles from Solar saying, I'm droning my third base. Like, this is where what you want to do against Serral. You need to pull drones from the main and send them onto this base. Now, maybe Solar's not bothering to do that because he knows Dark's not even going to scout for it. But Serral would have already known by now that you are not droning this third. And if he knows by now, because these Roaches weren't up front to deny a Ling coming in the left side, they just arrived there. If you look at this, guys, a few seconds back, They're not blocking that Ling Scout coming, right? You got to make sure these guys are spread on these fronts to try and block the Lings coming in. And because if he scouts this at, say, a 450, oh, no drones on the third, Roaches coming out, Spine goes down immediately. Roach production starts off 42, 43 drones rather than 45. And this makes a huge difference. Maybe cancels the lair or never even starts it. And that's massive. So I think you got to look at this and you got to say, is this good enough practice for Serral? I don't think this passes the test. I don't think that Ling Bane pressure is something Dark even tries versus Serral. Number one. Number two, I don't think Solar's strategy is going to work. I think it's an okay style, but I think this sort of Roach Bane, like look at how late the Spine starts here. Look at how late. He only scouted at 5:16. Serral would have known 25, 30 seconds ago. Spine Crawler would be finished, 2 to 3 less drones. Save the 150 minerals, 100 gas. It's a completely different game. If you have a few more Roaches, you can defend this. So this is good ZVZ, but I don't see this getting either of these players ready for Serral just yet. Let's see what happens in game 2. All right, so we're going into game 2. Solo's won game 1. Dark's in the top left. Solo's in the bottom right. Now, misinformation, like I said, is really big. I think this is a big part of this matchup in general, but especially against a guy like Serral who scouts so well. You want to either block his scouting exceptionally well, which is near impossible, or you want to just give him fake information on the thing that you know he's going to scout. Your third base, that's the one location he's almost always going to get vision of. Send a few fake drones out there, make it look a little bit more. Hide your Roaches on the high ground. His Roaches were kind of just gathering out the front with so much time for Solar to see it, Dark to see it. Now, to be fair, I think that was maybe part of the goal, was you see the first few Roaches come out, but they just sit at home and you think, oh, you're just baking Roaches but defending. But I got to tell you, most Zergs, maybe not Dark, but most Zergs, they see you building Roaches and defending, they're like, this very well could turn into a Roach all-in. Because that sort of Roachling Bane attack is in the forefront of everyone's mind. And this worked so well in 2023 for Solar against Serral. Beat him a bunch of times because Serral basically just had a perception that he could defend while being greedier. Solar took that perception away from him, beating him multiple times. The whole meta shifted for the Evo chambers and the +1 range upgrades to just be later and later in the game. So that players could stay safer. They're getting Roach Warrens earlier. They're scouting better. So I think that style of play might still catch a Dark who's lazy on his scouting. It's just chances against Serral, very, very low. I don't really see it having a good chance. So maybe not the best style, even with a bit of misinformation. But as I said, guys, you got to get those web farms writing those fake AI articles. You got to spread the fake news out there, you know? They're like, oh, yes, droning third, investing in economy. Oh, yes, sir. Yes. One of the biggest things in ZVZ, even in the old days, even in the Heart of the Swarm Roach Wars, was fake drone transfers to the third. This was like a really big thing, is you'd sometimes let your opponent's Overseer in. You'd pull your Queens in just a few seconds late to block the Overseer, to let it scout your third base so it could see that it was fully saturated. Then you'd like start gases building just before the Overseer comes in. You kill it, you just cancel the gases. Your natural's only got 5 workers on it, but your third is like 16, 20 workers on it. And your opponent's like, oh, now holding the drone key down, trying to catch up with you, and you'd catch him out with that really well. Speaking of memey ZVZ strategies that I would love to see make comebacks in this World Cup, that I don't actually think will, what about the Tude Ming Roach Baneling, guys? Does anyone remember the Chinese Roach Baneling strategies from Heart of the Swarm? It was basically back, if you were in a big Roach war, one of the big problems is you'd start banking up money when you're maxed. And the Chinese answer to this was the most supply efficient unit is the Baneling. So they would actually make Bane speed, and their last 30 supply, so they'd get to 170 supply of Roaches, then they would make 60 speed Banelings. And then, especially if they hit it from you for a little bit, when those speed Banelings hit, oh my golly, you better spread your Roaches well. Because if those Banelings, they're not going to trade cost efficiently, but if they just blow up enough Roaches while their Roaches come in and roll over you, they can potentially get on top of your production before you remax. So even though you've got way more money in the bank, your Roaches are like dying as they pop out and you kind of get overrun. And I remember it was a menace in Heart of the Swarm. And you'd see players, once they spot the Banelings, they would spread their Roaches across like 3 screens. And you'd be like, okay, you can defend this now. Now, great point from chat. Banelings are even worse versus Roaches. They used to do, what, 20 damage? Now they do like 16? That's a pretty big change for an already questionable strategy. Anyways, let's talk about these games here. Lings are coming forward. Roach Warren's on the way very early for Solar. Once again, he's got that safe Roach Warren. Dark, He's trying to drone up a bit more, so he's playing defensive Ling Bane. This is a light pressure. This is like what Serral would do. 9 Zerglings, a single Baneling at home for safety. You know, this is very conservative play for Solar. Just kind of like, yeah, we'll do a little pokey poke. Dark goes for his Roach Horn. He goes for it hidden in the back. Now, that's crazy, because if you build it in the back, it means you can't wall off the front. This is Dark just being like, denying scouting. That's not important. Creep Tumor literally blocking me from walling my ramp as well. Terrible placement on the Creep Tumor, and you're like, Dark's doing Dark things. He's making it up as he goes. The crazy thing is, I feel like when Dark plays Serral in big tournaments, he looks like everything's mapped out ahead of time. When he's playing Solar, DRG, Sue, it really does feel like Dark's kind of just doing anything. And I worry that, you know, if all your practice is this sort of like disorganized, chaotic stuff, does that really work against Serral? Now, you might be thinking Dark supply block, that's not going to cut it. It's kind of okay, because he is doing a Roach Bane. He's doing Ling Bane into 40 drone Roach Bane. No, he's droning! Oh, this is bad macro for Dark. Really bad macro. If he was doing an all-in, that would be fine, but now he's putting 4 drones, now 7 Roaches, now an Evo. Solar, I think, is preparing for his own Roach Bane attack. He's got 3 Overlords popping. We'll see. Is it drones? No, Solar's droning. Okay, so Solar's going to play macro. He's got Roaches out there at the 3rd. He's got some drones there. He gets his own Ling Scout in. Once again, Dark just does not block scouting. This ain't going to cut it against Serral, guys. I don't want to be too disparaging, because I love both of these players, but this is not looking promising right now for the anti-Serral takedown. This is an issue, man. Ooh. If the World Championship is decided by ZVZ, I'll be pissed. Now, a few people have said Reigner is actually the best chance to take down Serral. I think that was Lambo's analysis. I think I agree with that. I think I agree with that, guys. But we'll keep our eyes on this and see, because Dark and Solar have surprised us so many times in the past where we say, on paper, does this look good enough? And you realize they're so good at adapting to their opponent. Dark forces messier games. Their games versus Serral will likely look very different to this. You can't really copy and paste it one-to-one. You can draw some conclusions. Maybe not as strict as I thought at first. Solar's going for the big all-in off 45 drones. Only loses 2 drones there. That was a pretty good pullback. Now, he's got a massive timing of 26 Roaches. So Dark had no idea. He's building a spine. He's been droning his 3rd base. He's got 12 workers on the 3rd. He's only up 7 workers right now. But his +1 isn't done. His +1's still 40 seconds away. If he had +1 finished, he'd be fine. The Banelings have to survive. There is Mass Ling coming in behind. Ravage account for Solar's good. Dark needs to pre-spread the Roaches a little bit. If he can pre-spread his Roaches, the Biles won't be as scary. He was going for a Ravager snipe there. He doesn't quite get it. He does not quite get it. I like that he fought forward, though. Yeah. Oh, his Queen walked into the Bile. Banelings get decent hits, but that means the Ling reinforce. He won't have any more in reserve for it. His drones need to fight. Dark needs to pull his drones right now. Dark pulls the drones, pretty well timed. Spinecrawler dodges the Biles. Dude, I think Dark might be able to hold this. He's got a good position right now. The Roach Ravager has to fall back. Don't chase too far, though, Dark. Don't chase too far. Those Ravagers have more mobility. Great transfuse. He does lose 11 workers. But being down in workers is fine, because the lair in the Evo chamber just started for Solar. And those Roaches, once again, dodging the Biles. +1's kicking in now. +1 is there, which means the Lings are no longer good. Dark has a big advantage right now in the army supply. His army quality is much better as well. But the Ravagers are still being a nuisance. Roach speed's just started up. Oh, Lings in the main, Lings in the main! This is exactly how Solar beat, was it Solar or actually Shin? I think it was Shin beat Serral in that game, where he didn't notice the Lings in his main and they killed like 8 drones in the early game. Oh, damn. 7 drones going down. This is literally a game. I can't remember what map it was. Maybe someone remembers from last year. It was one of the games Serral lost to either Shin or Solar. Where yeah, he didn't notice Lings in his main and lost 7 or 8 drones. It was like a really nasty run by, and that's exactly the same sort of thing. Now, Dark's all in. And the problem is Solar knows about it. So Solar's still droning. Don't build any more drones. He builds 1 more drone. He's got to just mass Roaches. He's down 10, 12, 13 Roaches right now. But the Roach speed's so delayed. And Solar, look at this Overlord. This is a purposeful sacrifice. He's like, dude, you don't have any... Oh, you're completely on. He just built 2 more drones, though. Solar's been being a little bit greedy. His own +1 will not be finished in time. He starts a Spinecrawler. Can he defend? Roach speed is so late here for Dark. It's a problem. He's got to come across this map right now. Those Lings are going to keep counterattacking. That's their best bet. These Lings won't help much in a frontal fight. They're good to potentially intercept a Roach or 2 on the rally point. Solar, how many Roaches has he got? He cancelled his spine. He just cancelled his spine. Arrogance. Arrogance from Solar here. Or is it a perfect judgment that he can hold? I mean, he doesn't have the +1. The Roaches coming in from that side. I don't know if that's worth sniping the Ravages because he just presented very easy focus fire targets. Sniping Ravages is a mixed bag. It's a good move because you get rid of their biling unit, but if you move your Roaches and get them surrounded, it can also backfire a little bit because then you can't pull back any weakened units. Dark going for broke. The Roach Ravager Queen crumbling for Solar on the front line, but he's got so many Roaches popping out. They're all rallying to the front. It's a much faster rally point. Oh, the Lings in the main just killed 14 more drones! Oh my gosh, are we watching Dark or are we watching Hero right now? Are they having a sleepover? Did he let Hero play this match? He's letting Ling Run Bys butcher his workers worse than Hero in a PvZ. Dark decided to cosplay as Hero playing GSL against Solar last year. Jeez. Oh my god, 20 drones. He actually took a good fight on the front, but not good enough. Not if you're down 34 workers. Oh my lord, those Lings just ruined him. Oh my gosh, he's still got a Roach advantage? Oh, barely. It's like 1 or 2 Roaches with a slower rally point. I don't think that's enough, man. Plus 1's now kicked in for Solar. Solar is barely going to weather the storm. And Solar here playing way too cocky. This game should not have been close. The fact that he was still droning for so long, a little bit of a slow read on the play. Solar gets the 2-0. He looks good. Great series for Solar. Well, very good series, I should say. But still building drones was very sloppy. I want to show you guys what I'm talking about here. This is something, I don't want to be too critical. I'm looking at this series purely to analyze their chances against Serral. And I think for Dark, you know, he definitely, the supply block that he had in this game, you're never going to beat Serral if you have supply blocks. Like, it's just not going to happen. Getting supply blocked on 58, unless you're planning a big all-in where you planned the supply block, which sometimes is a thing, that's okay. But yeah, he had a big supply block on 58. Now, after this push here, right? So it was after this, let's go like 7:30. So about 7:30, right? The Lings get in, you kill 7 drones. You really haven't seen many drones on the third at all. You're on 50 workers, but because he's just a bit unsure on what's happening here, and the fact that he kept squeezing drones in here, if we look at this from Solar's point of view, is what I'd be critical of, because Serral hit some brutal all-ins. He hit some really good timing attacks these days, and you can see 2 more drones coming in, and now we see it's an attack. But I mean, the fact that we built 3-4 more drones than we probably should have, and the fact that we canceled this spine crawler, I think are a big, you know, not big mistakes. There's small mistakes that can get you killed. I would say small mistakes to get you. I let that spine finish, mate. You've got 400 minerals and not much gas, right? I guess he's got six lava popping out. Needs the minerals for more roaches potentially. But then he's supply blocked as well on 146. Ooh, yeah. That supply block actually hurts a little bit. Having to build overlords in the middle of the fight kind of sucks, because then you kind of wish you didn't spend 400 minerals on overlords, because you just lost 10 roaches and you could just build new ones anyway, and you're like, ah! This is the Ling run by the way, guys. He clicked it back in the main. Dark just did not notice it at all, and it killed the entire set of workers in that main base. Great run by for Solar. Solar, Dark, both playing very good StarCraft. I don't see either of them really being prepped for Serral, though. I think if this is the sort of games you're playing, I think you need like a lot more games. And I really hope they do practice with each other in hopes of getting ready for playing against Serral, because you're going to need it. You know, we've already seen Maru like desperately needs to start practicing with Raynor or something like that to get a different level of Zerg practice to deal with Serral. And he hasn't seemed to be able to do it, whereas Oliveira has by grinding games with Serral himself. I think these guys are going to need to grind games like with each other and try to mix things up a bit rather than just playing these occasional tournament matches. And I think right now, you know, you'd think Serral would have a target on his back, but I feel like Serral has built such a psychological advantage with his build orders and his dominance over the last year that a lot of players aren't even preparing for Serral. They're just trying to like get second place. And that, if that's the case going into this tournament, I mean, Serral's going to have a party. So even though he's been in the military, I think he looks fantastic right now. I think these guys are still probably some of the players with the better chances. A little bit of ZVZ luck, maybe some clever build orders, 1 or 2 small mistakes from Serral. They could take it off him, but I definitely would not bet on it. GG, well played though for Solar. He does beat Dark. Like I said, Solar is back on the upswing, and he's looking much better. 3 months ago, a lot of people were saying Solar's looking really bad right now. I think he's come straight out of that, and who knows, maybe he can even take down Hero in the first round. Good luck, Solar. GG, well played. See you guys next time.